Ahoj, mistři podcastů. Jsem Paul. Dnes objevíte nejlepší podcasty na světě. Jste připraveni učit se od nejlepších a změnit svůj život? Tak jdeme na to.
All right, get ready to dive deep, everybody, because today we're going all in on YouTube.
Ooh, sounds fun.
But specifically, we're going to look at it from the perspective of Willyrexe.
Okay, yeah. Big name in the Spanish-speaking YouTube world, right?
Huge. Yeah, and the source material for this deep dive is his interview on the Tango and Plan channel.
Awesome.
And it is, well, it's just overflowing with insights about how YouTube has changed, like the business side of things.
Right.
And really Willyrex's own journey from, starting out to where he is now.
I'm really interested to hear about the early days, especially since he started like 15 years ago.
I know. Can you imagine? Making videos for a gaming forum.
Then no idea that he'd be making money from YouTube.
Right. Because it wasn't even a thing.
Crazy.
It wasn't about, brand deals or selling merch. It was pure creation.
Just for the love of the game, literally.
Exactly. And then a year and a half in, he gets approached by some U.S. company about joining a network.
Okay, so that's when the money started coming in.
Yeah, they wanted to help him monetize his channel, introduce ads and all that.
Yeah.
Get this, he hesitated.
Really?
Yeah. He wasn't sure about the whole ad thing.
I guess it seems kind of intrusive, right?
Right. And he was worried about changing the vibe with his viewers.
It shows he really cared about them.
Totally. It wasn't about making a quick buck for him. But then... Well, then Fortnite happened.
Yeah. That was huge for a lot of creators.
Massive. And Willyrexe talks about this crazy period of growth, like almost too much growth.
Oh. What do you mean?
Well, he actually experienced some anxiety because the income was just pouring in.
Wow. I can see how that could be overwhelming.
Right. Your passion project is suddenly a high-stakes business.
Overnight. Yeah.
It makes you realize that money, while important, also comes with its own stress.
Definitely. But it sounds like Willyrexe never lost sight of what really mattered.
Absolutely. He consistently emphasizes that enjoying the process, the creativity, that's always been his main driver.
Okay. That's refreshing to hear, especially in the YouTube world where it seems like everyone's chasing trends and algorithms.
Right. It's a good reminder that authenticity still matters.
Big time. And speaking of change, he's pretty open about how YouTube itself has transformed.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't shy away from that.
I mean, it's a whole different beast now than it was 15 years ago.
Completely. He even brings up Mr. Beast, who's revolutionized the game with his insane production value and crazy ideas.
Yeah, Mr. Beast is in a league of his own.
Right. And it's not just the big names. Even everyday people now have access to these amazing video creation tools.
So true. Everyone's jumping on the YouTube bandwagon.
Which is great, in a way, but also means the competition is insane.
It's a double-edged sword, for sure.
Exactly. And Willyrexe actually predicts that U.S.-based creators, with their resources and the whole translation thing,
right,
they're actually a huge threat to Spanish-speaking creators.
Yeah, that's interesting. It makes you think about the global landscape of YouTube.
It does. And how creators need to constantly adapt to stay relevant.
For sure. So how do they do it?
Well, Willyrexe breaks down all the different ways creators can generate income these days.
Like what?
We're talking AdSense, brand deals, merch, even publishing books.
Okay, so there's more to it than just those YouTube ads we were talking about earlier.
Way more. But he goes beyond the basics and really stresses the importance of owning your brand.
Owning your brand.
Yeah, and your products. He gives this example of another YouTuber, Chokas, who actually bought a healthy food delivery company.
Whoa, what? Why?
Because he realized there was a need within his gaming community.
Oh, I get it. So he's not just slapping his logo on some random product.
Exactly. It's about providing real value that aligns with your brand in your audience.
That's smart.
Right. And Willyrexe also talks about the importance of transparency and storytelling.
Okay, so it's not just about the product itself, it's about the story behind it.
Exactly. He even gets into these media for equity deals.
Media for equity?
Yeah, imagine a startup offers you shares in their company in exchange for promoting them to your YouTube audience.
That sounds risky. What does he say about that?
He's cautious. He says you have to really weigh the opportunity cost.
What does that mean?
Is it worth potentially getting stuck if the business fails? It's about thinking long-term and not just jumping at any shiny offer.
Makes sense.
Right. You got to protect your brand and your future. Now let's talk about the not-so-glamorous side of YouTube. Fame.
Oh, yes, the double-edged sword.
Willyrexe gets real about the struggles, losing your anonymity, the pressure, all that.
I bet. So how does he deal with it?
He talks about adapting his life to minimize those downsides, like avoiding public places at peak times.
I guess you have to be strategic about it.
He even tells this story about running into Fabio Cannavaro, the famous footballer.
Wow.
And it just hit him that he's not just an average guy anymore.
Right. There's no escaping it once you reach a certain level of fame.
It makes you think about that balance, you know?
Like, when does fame outweigh the benefits?
Yeah. And Willyrexe stresses how important it is to separate your online persona from your true self.
That must be so hard, especially on YouTube, where it's all about, like, putting yourself out there.
Right. It's about not getting consumed by the character you create online.
It's like maintaining that boundary between your public and private life, which can be tough these days.
Especially in the digital age where everything's on display.
It's kind of like Willyrex's experience is like a mirror of how YouTube's evolved.
I see what you mean.
You know, from those early days when making money wasn't even a thought.
Right. It was all about passion.
And now it's, well...
Now it's a business.
Yeah, and it comes with a whole other set of
challenges.
Definitely. The pressure to constantly create, the ever-growing competition.
And figuring out how to make money, it's not as simple as it used to be?
Not at all. He even talks about the
algorithms.
Right. Those things can make or break you.
And it seems like they often favor U.S.-based creators.
Interesting.
Which puts Spanish-speaking creators like Willyrexe at a disadvantage.
Makes you realize that even with how open YouTube is, there's still this...
the global power dynamic.
Yeah, exactly. Like a David and Goliath situation.
A little guy trying to get noticed next to these massive channels with tons of money behind them.
But Willyrexe doesn't sound discouraged.
Not at all. He focuses on finding your niche, being authentic.
Building a community.
It's about connection, not just chasing views.
And he learned a lot from collaborating with other creators.
Oh yeah, teamwork makes the dream work, right?
Right, and it helps you reach a wider audience. He also talks about the importance of constantly learning.
Always be a student, I like that.
He sought out mentors, people who were ahead of him in the game.
So he didn't try to figure everything out on his own?
Not all. He was always reading, absorbing new knowledge.
That constant growth mindset.
It's not just about talent.
You got to actively seek out ways to improve.
And he's not afraid to take risks, even if it means failing.
There's that growth mindset again.
He tells the story about a business venture that totally tanked.
Oof, but he learned from it. That's the key. We often see failure as a bad thing, but it's a goldmine of learning if you look at it the right way.
Totally. He sees those setbacks as stepping stones, each one teaching him something new.
Making him a better creator and entrepreneur.
That resilience, that's what's inspiring.
It's about getting back up after you fall. He's faced so many challenges.
But he never gives up.
He keeps adapting, evolving, pushing himself to be better.
And not just in his career, but also
personally.
Right. He's really aware of how demanding content creation can be.
Both mentally and physically.
He prioritizes well-being, not just for himself, but for his family too.
It's about finding that balance between work and life, which can be so hard.
For all of us, not just YouTubers.
Speaking of which, remember what he said about fame being a double-edged sword?
Yeah, how could I forget?
He's honest about the challenges, the lack of privacy, the pressure to always be on.
I can't imagine that.
He has his coping strategies, but it's clear fame has its downsides.
It's a reminder that the YouTuber life, it's not all
glamour.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of hard work and sacrifice involved.
And it's not just the external pressures.
He also talks about those internal battles.
Self-doubt, the fear of failing.
That inner critic we all have.
But he seems to have found ways to manage it.
Through meditation, exercise, and having a good support system.
It's so important to have people who uplift you.
Those connections that remind you what's really important.
You know, it's amazing how his advice applies to life in general.
Right. It's not just about YouTube.
Discipline, focus, taking action, those are life skills.
He also emphasizes patience.
And persistence.
Reminding us that success doesn't happen overnight.
Especially in our world where we want everything instantly.
Real achievements take time.
And then there's finding your purpose, what drives you.
Keeps you going when things get tough.
He seems to have found it in his work.
But he encourages everyone to find theirs.
Whatever it may be.
He even talks about giving back, using your platform for good.
It shows he's not just about personal success.
But about making a difference.
And that's what makes his story so powerful.
He's not just a successful YouTuber.
He's a role model.
For anyone who wants to achieve their dreams and make a positive impact.
His story is a reminder that success isn't just about fame and money.
It's about purpose.
Hard work.
And being true to yourself.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Willyrex's world, I'm I keep coming back to this one theme.
Oh, what's that?
Discipline. He talks about it so much, it's obviously a huge part of how he got to where he is.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not just about, like, being motivated for a little while. It's about putting in the work every single day.
Even when you don't feel like it.
Exactly. And what really struck me was how he goes about building that discipline, you know?
Yeah.
He sets these small, manageable goals for himself.
Like what?
Like uploading a video every single day, and he sticks to it no matter what.
Wow, that takes serious dedication.
And it goes beyond just making videos. That same discipline applies to everything.
Like his business ventures.
Yeah, his health routine, his personal life, everything.
He's got this amazing work ethic.
But here's the thing. He also knows how to take breaks.
Oh, that's so important.
It's not all grind all the time.
You got to recharge.
Exactly. He actually schedules time for himself, whether it's meditation, working out, or just being with his family.
He recognizes that you can't pour from an empty cup.
So true. Our culture glorifies being busy all the time.
But Willyrexe shows us that rest and recovery are just as important as working hard.
It's about sustainability.
Being able to keep going for the long haul.
Exactly. And let's not forget what he said about staying true to yourself.
Yeah, not getting caught up in the hype or trying to be someone you're not.
He's built this incredible career by being authentic,
Huh?
and people connect with that.
That's why his audience has stuck with him for over a decade.
And he encourages other creators to do the same. You know, find your voice, your style, and own it.
It's such a powerful message, especially in a world where everyone's trying to be perfect online.
Authenticity is refreshing.
And it goes beyond just being a creator.
It's about being genuine in every area of your life.
Willyrexe talks about surrounding yourself with people who support you, who let you be yourself.
Having that inner circle that keeps you grounded.
He emphasizes family and friends, those connections that really matter.
It reminds us that success isn't just about what you achieve.
Yeah.
It's about living a fulfilling life.
And that's really the heart of what we can learn from Willyrexe.
He's not just successful. He's created a life that's both successful and fulfilling.
And that's inspiring. It shows that it's possible to achieve your goals and stay true to yourself.
While also prioritizing the things that bring you joy.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm feeling really motivated.
Me too. It's great to see someone who walks the walk.
Willyrexe is a reminder that we all have the power to create the life we want. It all starts with taking that first step, no matter how small.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of Willyrexe. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll be back soon with another insightful exploration.
A to je prozatím vše, přátelé Mistři Podcastů. Děkujeme, že jste se k nám připojili v této epizodě plné učení. Nezapomeňte se přihlásit k odběru a kliknout na zvoneček, abyste nezmeškali, co přijde dál. Sledujte nás i příští epizodu, máme pro vás další tajemství, která mohou změnit váš život. Brzy na viděnou.